Today I'm maintaining with Tyler. We're going to be doing a oil change on this 2011 Nissan Altima. The first thing you're going to want to do is get the car up on some jacks, or put it up on a curb if you don't have any jacks, or a jack stand, so you can make room to get under the vehicle. The tools we'll be using today are a socket with a 14mm on it, an oil filter. Always check your manual to see which oil filter is right for you. Your Valvoline SAE 5W30 motor oil, a funnel, and also a catch pan and some paper towels. Next, what you'll need to do is lift the hood on the vehicle.
Alright, so I got my gloves on and I got my eye protection on, so let's get ready to get under the car. Alright, so here's the drain plug, and make sure your drain bucket is right underneath so we can pour the oil under the bucket.
Alright, at this point, when it turns freely, you want to move your ratchet and then do it by hand. And be careful, the oil will come out really fast. And we'll just sit here and let this drain for about 4 or 5 minutes until it gets down to a slow trickle.
Okay, to make the oil progress faster, take off the oil cap. So while you're waiting for your oil to drain, take the gasket off your oil pan screw, the old one, and replace it with your new gasket.
Now, if you notice, the old gasket is metal, which is the old crush style. We're replacing it with a vinyl one. I haven't tried these vinyl gaskets out, but it's made for these vehicles, so we're going to try it this time and see how it works out. So maybe this would be another experiment to see how this gasket works and if it works well on these vehicles.
Alright, it looks like it's done now. Now it's time to replace the oil pan screw.
Right now we're just going to snug it up with our hand. We don't need to do the ratchet right now. We're going to go ahead and take the oil filter off.
Now that we're done with the oil pan, we'll move it over to the oil filter.
The oil filter on the 2011 Nissan is right behind the tire, right above the little plastic piece. I don't know if you can get a good view of it. Right. Tyler, you can come on over there. Okay, on the oil filter you have a gasket on the one you came off, and you got to make sure that one comes off right. Sometimes they will stick up on the engine, because if you don't and you get a double gasket seal on there, you can have oil leaking. Sometimes it's a slow leak. One time at the dealership, a guy brought it off the ramp and there was nothing but a trail of oil leading right out of the dealership, and everybody was screaming and yelling. Luckily we caught it in time, but always be careful. Make sure that seal is on and off of the engine. Next, you want to take the new filter and dip your finger in the new oil and just get a little bit of oil, and you want to prime this gasket right there. And that will help with the seal. Normally what I'd do, if the filter went in straight, I would pour some oil down into the filter. But since the filter sits sideways, we don't want to do that because it's going to pour out all over us. So just go ahead and put some on the gasket and prime it, and then we'll go ahead and stick it up where it belongs. Now it's time to put the filter back on. Make sure you got the filter on there straight. And once you get it going and get it nice and snug, you only want to turn it hand tight because you don't want it on there very tight, and I'm sure Tyler's hands are very slippery. I'll get in there and make one turn and make sure it's hand tight, and then we'll go ahead and tighten up the bolt back on the oil pan. Next, we're going to tighten up your oil drain plug. Now, you know, if you don't have a torque wrench, you just want to tighten it nice and snug, because if you go too far, it's going to bend the inside of the pan. So go ahead. Is that nice and snug, Tyler?
Yes, it is.
All right. Next, we'll work our way up to the top and put in the oil. Now the Altima, the manual says it takes, with a filter change, takes 4 7/8 quarts of oil. And we have a 5-quart container. So we'll probably pour most of this in here down to about the bottom and then back it off and check how we're doing. So go ahead and put your funnel there, and you can start pouring in your oil, Tyler.
Whoa.
Okay, we poured just about most of the bottle in there. So what we're going to do is put the cap back on, take the oil funnel out. We'll go underneath and check for leaks. I'm going to spray a little bit of brake clean on the areas to make sure there's nothing leaking, and wipe everything down under there so we can check for leaks. Alright, so we're just going to clean up our areas so we can check for leaks. So right now Tyler's cleaning up the oil drain plug, and now he's cleaning up by where the filter is. And I'm just going to spray just a little bit of brake clean. Tyler, watch your eyes. And that looks pretty good. We'll back it off the ramps and check the oil.
Okay, so we ran the car for a few, and now we're going to check to see if we have any leaks. And I don't see any leaks happening. So we are good. Now it's time to back it off the ramp and check the oil.
All right, Tyler's going to check the oil now. He's going to pull the dipstick out. And let's see where that oil is. It's right close enough. Go ahead and wipe that off and put it in there one more time, Tyler. And pull it back out. Let's see if we can tell where it's going. Make sure you get it all the way down in there. Okay. I don't know if you can see, the oil is about right there. So it needs to be in between these 2 points. So we'll go ahead and fill it with the rest of the oil that's left in the jug. All right, Tyler, go ahead and top it off. Okay, now we'll start the car real quick to let the oil filter through, and then check it one more time. All right, Tyler's going to check the oil one more time to see where we're at.
As you guys can see, it's almost at the top. Okay, so people want to know what we do with our old oil. So we fill it back into the container and take it to our local auto store. Or we take it to the landfill where they can take it. Recycle, guys.
And this is how we change the oil on a 2011 Nissan Altima.
remember, if I can do it, you can do it.